hold on, real quick. Are we going to abbreviate dinosaur to dino the whole movie? Because I'm down.
Might help for the editing, so.
Dino, go.
If we say dino, then we should say it like dinosaur, or like something.
Dino!
Do you know what I'm saying when I say that? Do you know who I'm impersonating?
Clippy from Microsoft, aka the
No,
tour guide.
it's the DNA guy from the movie.
I know, but I'm calling
Why
him
do you call
Clippy.
Clippy?
Do you remember Clippy?
No, I know Clippy, but like, why is this guy
Because he
Clippy?
reminds me of like Microsoft Clippy, where it was like, you got a question? I know that person never had a voice, but in my mind, it sounded like the DNA guy, because he looked like him. You know I'm right. Stop it.
Oh, dear.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, sisters who've seen it.
Welcome! Welcome back, listeners. We are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And yeah, ethical. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're serious.
It's just a lot in this movie.
Katie, your favorite movie, your number one movie?
It is.
Do you want to say the title?
The movie this week is Jurassic Park. I thought I was going to do a dinosaur roar and I didn't. Sorry.
I wanted you to edit in.
I cannot. So, okay, I watched this in my room and I have like a pretty decent TV, but like every time the T-Rex would roar, my sound on the TV would be like like it just totally wasn't. It was like, yeah, we're not doing that. We're gonna take a pause on that. It didn't like it.
Do you know what the noise of the T-Rex roar was a combination of?
Oh my god, I feel like I used to know
you
this
Google
fact. No, I used to, but...
Ready?
Yeah, tell me it.
It's 3 animals.
Oh man, okay.
First animal, a baby elephant squeal.
Ugh, that's a weird noise.
Second animal,
Okay.
an alligator's gurgling.
Okay.
A third animal, a tiger's snarl.
A tiger.
And its breath. Oh, actually, it's
What?
the fourth, but it's not part of the roar. This is separate. Like its breath, you know how it would breathe, was the
Okay.
sound of air escaping a whale's blowhole.
Oh my god. Who?
I have so many fun facts this episode. There's so many. To the point, Katie, I went down rabbit holes
Oh god.
of watching the like special effects animator puppeteers. Like I went down the path of like watching their student films on how to do this. I would be like, oh, that's a 3-minute video, a 9-minute video, and then I was like, this is a 30-minute video. This is an hour video, and I'm like, what day is it?
Who am I? Where am
Who
I?
am I?
Oh my word. But it's
Yeah.
because this movie's so awesome.
It was really awesome.
That's
This
how
is
you
a
know
great
it's a good movie, when there's like 5 billion fun facts and you fall down, dinosaur rabbit holes.
This
Best.
was suspenseful.
Oh yeah.
I clutched.
Ooh,
I was like, ugh,
clutched
ugh.
your cheeks.
Clutched. Ooh, all the cheeks.
Ooh.
My hands,
Oh my.
my breath was very like...
Yeah.
There wasn't a scene where it was like, let's give the audience a break. It was like, no, that was the beginning of the movie. Hold on to your
Right.
horses.
Yeah, there's always a lot that's happening. But I don't know, I like that. Because if it's not really good dialogue or active acting happening, you know what I mean?
Ooh.
Yeah, coining that term. Then it's like, the scary dino crayness.
Totes.
Wait, when was the last time before this that you, watched this movie, though?
A long. I mean,
Yeah.
our whole theory on, is this a kid's movie? Is this an adult movie? Is this a teen movie? I'm going to throw it out there that its secret sauce is it's an all-age movie. Because when I was younger,
yeah.
I saw some things. When I was a teenager, I saw others. And when I was an adult, aka now, I saw completely different things. I don't know what you think.
No, I agree with that, because I think when you're a kid, like, every kid loves dinosaurs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we know more about that in geography than we'll ever use in real life.
We know more about that than our own planet and oceans. So, cool. Cool. But
True.
I think, like, that, like, grips kids in. And then there are kids in the movie, so if you're a kid, you're like, oh, I can relate.
Like, samesies. Me and Timmy.
And there is kind of, like, actually more often than I remember, there's kind of, like, funny one-liners where you're like, that's a weird thing to say.
You consider that funny? Katie.
Well,
I had a critique about that.
Funny attempts.
Yeah. The direct line I said was little slapstick humor.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, we should do the summary.
Give the summary, because I learned a lot this time around, and I'm curious your take, because it's your movie, you lead.
Okay.
It's your favorite movie, so we got about 3 hours. Go.
It's not gonna take the movie's not even 3 hours long. My God.
I know, but the more you love the movies, the more it goes.
I know,
which I actually
know.
respect. RESPEC.
Okay. Jesus. All right, so, you know, the movie starts off with, it's nighttime, it's scary,
Oh.
there are trees moving,
Oh.
and I think that every kid, or perhaps even if you're an adult seeing this for the first time, I think that you think we going to see a dino. Because it's filmed that way, where it's like, it's dark and it's scary, and then there's a bunch of men, and they're all on guard, and they're all, like, very alert, and it, honestly, like, for probably an entire minute, you literally don't know what the heck is going on behind these trees. So it is, like you said, very suspenseful. But then you find out that it's this big cargo carrier, and it has a dino in it, and you're kind of figuring out, like, okay, these men, they're doing some type of job, they're trying to take this dino, put it from here, over there, something goes wrong, scary, potential death happens. So, okay, so that's kind of the intro, and then the next scene, you get a lot of exposition, and you meet this lawyer, and this lawyer is basically like, we have to investigate what happened, and we need professional opinions on this park, and in order for the investors to invest in this park, even though the park is, like, already made, and, like, it looks like we're all done, so I don't know what we're investing anymore, but anyway, so then you're like, okay, we need professionals. So then it cuts, and you go see, so, okay, two scenes kind of happen. You see Dennis Nedry, who works for the park. He is, like, the IT computer
Newman.
programming.
Newman.
He is Newman from Seinfeld. Yes.
Yes.
And you quickly find out he is corrupt, and he's going to try to steal some dino embryos. And he's planning on doing it, like, the next day or sometime soon. I don't really know in terms of time frame what's happening. Okay, now we're cut away. Now we see the professional, Dr. Grant and Dr. Sadler.
Ooh, lady.
Queens.
Ugh,
King
definitely.
Queens. And Dr. Grant is a paleontologist. And then Dr. Sadler is a paleobotanist.
What?
I don't know much about that. So you meet them. Hammond, who is the guy who owns this park, he comes to visit them unexpectedly. And he basically says, I want to invite you to this park. I'm not going to tell you what it is, which is kind of weird. But I'm going to pay you money if you agree to come.
3 years.
Yes, 3 years funding, which that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So come to this park. I'll pay for everything and give me your opinion. So then they're going to the park and you meet another doctor, Dr. Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum, another queen.
Must go faster. Must go faster.
I saw you leaning in and I was like, what's going to be the quote? What's going to be the
Must
quote?
go faster.
And he is a chaostician?
Mathematician? Something?
Sound-
Yeah, you're there. I don't know.
Sounds like a made-up word, but he said it, so he's all about, like, predictability in things. Which, yeah, to me, I'm like, that's math. That's not...
Yeah.
Anyway, so they go to the park, and they're kind of getting a tour, and they come to find out, oh, snap, there's dinos. We got dinos. We got dinos, y'all. So
Love it.
they're like, holy moly.
Love
First
it.
shot of the dinos are, like, beautiful and majestic, and the music is awesome, and they're the nice dinos. They're, like, the cute, you know, Brachiosauruses, and we're all happy, and everyone's happy crying, and life is great. So they're excited. They want to hear more about it. What the heck? How do we do this?
Totally.
And then they, you know, kind of get filled in on the process, and the process had to do with DNA and messing around with DNA, and then Dr. Malcolm starts being the one to be like, hey, that's messed up. And they're like, you're crazy. Shut up. And then they kind of see more of the dinos. They find out there's a T-Rex. They find out there's velociraptors. And then they are like, okay, now you're going to go on a tour. First one, you're going to get a tour of the park. You're going to experience what it's like if you're a park member. Fine. So when they go to the tour, there's 2 kids that come in. It's Hammond's grandkids who, I'm sorry. Listen.
All right, I'm listening. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath.
I'm trying to think of how to word this because, like, I just feel like if I was a parent and my rich father or whoever was like, yo, got park with dinos. They're real, full size. Didn't even scale them down for funsies. Like, they're big and they can do it all. Bring the children. You can't come, but, like, kids can come. And, like, I don't think I'd send them, personally.
I wrote the same notes. I wrote, why kids? Why now?
Yeah, it doesn't really get explained. They're just like, oh my god, Grandpa, we miss you. And you're like, all right, well, he don't miss you because he's sending you into the dinos. Dinoland. So anyway, so the tour goes. The tour is not great. They don't see many dinos. They end up seeing a dino off the tour path. It's a Triceratops. It's sick. And then the group kind of splits up. So Dr. Sadler, she gets split off from everyone. And while this is all happening, Dennis Nedry, little son of a gun there, he's like, you know what? Today's the perfect day for my heist. This is the day for the heist. And so to do his heist, he basically shuts down the security systems in the park and a lot of the electricity goes out. And then, while this is happening, because there's many things happening, there's a scary storm going on the island. So people are split up. Electricity's going out. Security system's going out. Dennis Nedry's outie. The people at the visitor center don't know what's happening.
No one knows.
Then they get back in the tour and then they stop at the T-Rex. And that's when they stop and they get stuck because it's electric cars. And that's when goes down.
Whoa!
I said it. So yeah, so that, and then again, the group gets split up, the lawyer dies. I feel like I'm being very detailed. I'm so sorry. It's really hard to, like, summarize it.
But
so
this makes my heart, it makes my heart beat with joy because you love it so much that you're going to this much detail. Keep going. Queen, as you say.
So lawyer's dead. Sorry.
Not funny, but just the way your face looks. Continue.
Kids are scared. Dr. Malcolm is, like, knocked out under some leaves over there.
Not doing well.
So it's Grant and the 2 kids, and he basically kind of saves them. He doesn't really save Tim. Tim ends up just getting saved just by chance. And then they're free from the T-Rex. So then it cuts to, okay, Dr. Sadler and all of them. They're like, oh, snap, we gotta go find them. They're stuck out there. They go to the T-Rex. They find out, oh, snap, that T-Rex is out. And look, there's a dead guy. And it's probably that lawyer guy. And they're all like, anyway. Then they find Malcolm. And they're like, oh, thank God, you're alive. We were so worried about you. And then they're looking for Grant. They're like, where's Grant? Where's the other car? They see the other car down at the bottom. But he's not there. And the kids are not there. And they already left. Because before that, Grant basically got Tim out of a tree. And they took the kids and they're gone. So while this is all happening, Dr. Malcolm's sitting in the car. Why they left an injured man who can't run away alone? I'll never know. We'll never know. But he's sitting there, and then you hear boom, boom, boom.
The water glass goes.
Many jiggling things in this movie. Not from, like, chunk, from, like, like liquid. And it's crazy! And then it's like you said, it's like, once you get to the T-Rex part.
Yeah.
Every time you think, like, okay, we're in the clear, life is good, then you're like, again, or somebody's running, somebody's dying.
If this was like a heart rate chart, it'd be like start at 0 in the beginning of the movie and it would slowly rise.
Yes.
And after that T-Rex, it would just exponentially shoot up and
God.
Be like up, down. Because I was like, to the point that I took multiple bathroom breaks. Not because I didn't love it, because I was like, I'm scared. There's a lot going on. I just need a moment. I'm like stressed out, and there's like still lots of time left in this movie.
It might be different for me though, because I mean, I like I've seen this movie so many times. I could.
That's true. You might
kind of like right now. I could like tell you the whole movie from memory. It's really
wait.
sad.
I love it. You're going. So then adventure.
So we run away
adventure.
from the T-Rex.
People are split. Adventure.
We're split. So they're back at the visitor center. Grant the kids, they sleep at a tree, see some Brachiosaurus, and they're like, see, not all dinos are bad. And you're like, okay, we know. But it's for character development, so we're fine with it. And then really like their whole subplot is like, okay, we're trying to like get back. And they end up, you know, they kind of see more dinos. They hide from the T-Rex again because that T-Rex is just like all over. I don't know how big Jurassic Park is, but like I just assume if it's an island, like I might not see a dino for like a whole day, but they just keep seeing him.
He's always there.
He's there. And so they then get to an electric fence. And while they're at this electric fence, which is turned off now, and they're like, okay, we gotta climb it, we're gonna hop over it, let's do it. But while that's going on, back at the visitor center, they're all like, oh snap, that Dennis, he like messed everything up and we can't fix it without him. And what the heck, what are we gonna do? And they're like, we gotta shut it down, shut the whole system down, and then it might restart. And so they try that and they're like, oh, it worked. But now we have to go to this place to make it work. And you're like, wait, so it didn't work. Okay, fine. So then that's a whole thing where they're like, okay, we're going to send Samuel Jackson.
That's a whole thing.
Samuel Jackson's amazing.
By the way, this was right before, because we were looking it up, we as in Mose and I, Pulp Fiction was after this. Because Samuel L. Jackson was like on the rise.
Love him.
And I just thought that was interesting timing that Pulp Fiction came right after this. So I was like, ooh, maybe it springboarded him. But that's a totally separate conversation. Continue, Katie.
Okay.
Long-winded is our specialty for today. Long-winded.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. Okay. So he gets sent. Stuff doesn't get fixed, and then they're like, oh snap, we gotta send more people because we're not planning it well.
And he was so chill about it. He was like, oh guys, I just gotta go across the street and just turn on the power. He's like, high five, and it worked. You're like, okay man, see you in a bit.
But like, it didn't work. I don't get it.
Like, wait, you didn't think about this? No.
Or like grab walkie-talkies, or like a flashlight. Like, no, he just went.
I blame it on racism. Continue.
Well, the first guy who gets attacked in the movie is a black guy, so there you go. Anyway, and okay, so that's a problem. Oh, and then somewhere within there, Dennis Nedry. It's raining. It's cray. We don't know what's going on.
The storm's
and
here.
He's like, I got my dino embryos. I'm in the clear. Except he keeps fogging up his glasses and driving into things, and like it's raining. And
but what he did that was so funny is he couldn't see because of his glasses, and he ran into the "this way is the dock" sign. Yeah, and that's why he didn't know where he was going, and it just all chaos ensued. Yeah. I actually believed that part. I was like, I understand. Wear contacts. This is a mission for you. This is a heist. Wear contacts. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. But be better. You could pay for it. You're making a lot of money with this.
I just feel like everybody in this movie could have planned a little better in some way. But anywho, so he then crashes his car into a waterfall. He's like, oh, snap, I'm in this waterfall. Gotta get my car out. But he's like, I see the path I have to go on. Life is good. And then while he's trying to do that, what happens? Well, what do you think on an island with the dinos? There's a little dino.
Dinosaur.
There's a little dinosaur. He's there. He's ready to go.
You're so good at it.
And he attacks him. He did. He's done. We're done with him. And yep. Okay. So okay. We're getting there. Oh god. You might not need to do your summary because I think we're doing it all. So, okay, so then Dr. Sadler...
Like 30 minutes in.
Okay, so Dr. Sadler's like, I'm gonna go fix this. Let's go. She goes with the Australian guy. I do not know his name. I don't know it.
I could probably find it. Keep going.
All right. So she goes out with him, and as they go out, they walk by the raptor place, and like, uh-oh, they're out. And you're like, yeah, duh, you turned everything off, guys. I don't understand why you're surprised by this. What's happening? So then they're like, oh, look, there's the place we have to go. It's literally right there. And then the guy's like, we're being hunted. And she's like, what the F? And he's like, you go, you run. She gets in the place, goes to where she's got to go. She's being led on the walkie-talkie by Hammond and Malcolm. They tell her, okay, you got to do this, you got to do this. So she's doing that. And as she's doing that, who's on the electric fence? The peeps, Grant and the children, and Tim, who's the youngest and smallest and literally fell out of a tree. No one's helping him. And he's like having such a hard time. And they're like, God, Tim, come on.
Timmy.
We're at the bottom. And then the alarm starts going off and everybody's freaking out. And they're like, okay, jump on down. He's like, I'm not gonna jump. Which, like, I get that, Tim. You literally fell off a cliff and, like, almost died in a
Things
tree.
have been rough for Timmy.
You literally keep almost dying in your like 6, so this is terrible. So he gets electrocuted, but don't worry, he's okay. He's fine. Okay, so they're good. They get to the visitor center. Thank God. Grant leaves the children alone. And then what happens when children are left alone? Raptors. That's
Definitely raptors.
Oh, yeah, and before that, Dr. Sadler gets attacked by a raptor, and then we find out Mr. Arnold was murdered, which we kind of knew. And then the Australian guy gets murdered by a raptor, and everybody dying. But
his name was Robert, by the way.
What?
His name was Robert.
That's it? Not even like Mr. or Doctor? He's just... What?
He was just Robert.
Oh, my word. Okay.
Robert Muldoon? Muldoon. Continue. He was the game warden.
Okay.
Don't let me stop you. And you know what's funny is his real life name is Bob. So, like, Robert Bob. What? Bob Peck.
Oh, God.
Continue.
All right, I'm going to speed up because I'm so sorry. Kids get attacked by raptors. Get away from the raptors. Grant and Sadler, they're like, we got to figure out this computer system because literally all the people who know things are dead now because we didn't plan because we're not planning. And the little girl's like, don't worry. I'm a hacker. I'm 11. And she goes and she fixes it and she locks the doors, but the raptors are still coming. So then Grant, Sadler, and the 2 kids run away from the raptors and they get to the main part of the visitor center and there's dino bones and then the T-Rex comes in, kind of saves them. They get to Hammond and Malcolm, get on those copters, and they get the air out.
I love it.
And we leave the dinos. Wow. I'm so sorry. It's just... so sorry.
Now I'm Googling, how old was the daughter?
She was probably like 13 instead of 11.
Everybody says, how old was Tim? And they say he was 8.
Yeah, I think he was around like 7 or 8.
Okay, let's see. How old was Lex? 12. You're right.
Yeah.
Everything obviously was spotless and perfect. The only thing that, as an adult, I paid more attention to was that Dennis... You know, the thing that was really interesting about this whole Jurassic Park is this, like, amusement park element where you had to have electric fences and you had to have cars that drove themselves and you had all this, like, very IT-dependent elements to things. And so he kept complaining about that and he explained how he wasn't getting paid enough. And that was his, like, gripe. And he then met someone on the side that was like, oh my God, give us the embryos to these dinosaurs. Right. And he's like, I got it covered. And then even in the midst of his heist, he's complaining to John Hammond about this. And that's kind of what causes all this chaos. It actually would have been fine if he just managed or paid this guy more money.
Which
I mean,
also,
right?
like, Hammond goes on this whole speech like, this isn't just going to be a place for rich people. This is open to everyone. And in my head, I'm like, okay, but you know it's not. You're telling me, like, a poor family or a middle-class working family is going to be able to afford the helicopter ride to your island. No, they're not.
I mean, Katie, they could, like, get points from American Airlines after 27 years.
Oh, perfect. Wonderful.
But that would be the only thing I'd add, because I thought that was, like, really fascinating.
Right.
You added it, but you didn't get into the why behind it, and I think that it makes a lot of sense. And then the other thing you didn't mention is in the beginning, you talk about how the trees are moving, and you don't know what it is, and then something bad happens, but you don't go into details. Well, a worker dies because it gets eaten by a dinosaur. And so then the entire park is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That employee sues for $20 million.
Well, his family.
His family, and obviously. And then that's why the lawyer comes and is like, yo, I don't know if this is safe. And then John Hammond's like, don't worry. I'm going to go get some random paleontologist people. Back me up. You get your mathematician chaos, specializes in chaos theory, back you up. And let's just chill for 2 days. I didn't get that as a kid. I was like, ooh, all these fun people see in the park. We're gonna all go to the park, and then the kids are gonna come, poo. And I even thought, if some random rich dude, who you clearly know is like backs your projects as a paleontologist, shows up and is like, hey, for 2 days, 48 hours, can you come check out this thing I won't tell you about? You don't have to sign anything. It's fine. For 3 years, I will fund your research. It's like, no big. Sign a contract.
Yeah, I feel like I would ask more questions.
Seeing? What's happening? And again, why are the kids there? Why are the kids there? Because you know on the lawyer side, he signed everything. You know that Jeff Goldblum signed everything. And it's like, what?
Don't you think
I thought that
though,
was I thought that was awkwardly sped up. I thought that was like rushed.
Well, I was just
Personally.
like, oh, like money. All you need is money, and then you can get people to do whatever you want. But
boring.
what did you think? I just feel like for amusement parks, because again, I agree with you. I think this is more akin to an amusement park type situation than a zoo.
Yeah, totally.
I just feel like if you have an amusement park, like I make my own brand new amusement park, like I have to test it, and I have to like have professionals helping me. It's not like Roller Coaster Tycoon, you know, like I need people. It just seemed weird that he was like, oh, now we'll get professional. You're like, wait, but why didn't you before?
Well,
I don't get it.
Unfortunately, in my line of work, I see a lot of yes men. And that's what Jeff Goldblum's character, like, pushes. He's like, you push them so hard to see if they could. Right. They never asked if they should.
Such a good
And I was
line.
like,
oh, so good.
Whoa. In my professional world, that's a serious question. It's a serious question to say, does the world need another product, service, app, website, insert anything? Do we really need another anything? I don't know. I'm behind the lines, Kate. I see some dark stuff, and it's bad. And that was what this park was about. Like, your question of where's the quality? Because, like, in my world, that's called quality control. There's a third party that comes in and is, like, non-biased, and they're like, this is messed up, this is safe, this isn't, yada, yada, yada. I mean, they were all so obsessed with, like, no one could ever imagine it's possible that we got it to happen. It's like, but why are we doing this?
But it's also, like, if you... I mean, I think it shows, like, Hammond's character, too, because when you meet him, you're like, oh, wow, he's so nice. Wow, like, we love him. He's so happy. He's so friendly. But then, like, really, when you hear, like, what he's talking about, you're like, okay, so all you care about is money. And you keep putting up this front, like, no, I'm doing this for the people. But, like, you somehow invested and helped people in some capacity literally create life. And instead of being like, hey, let's use this for, like, research and science, you're like, no, guys, we're gonna, like, literally go market that right now. And I think, again, I love this movie because ethically, what makes it so scary is not the fact that you dinos eating people. What makes it scary is, like, this would happen. And I'm actually surprised we don't have a dino park yet. I'm happy we don't, but, like...
I know why. I looked it up because I was fascinated.
Just crazy. It's because this is exactly how it would happen. This is exactly what happened. It would happen from someone who is way too rich for their own good.
Trying to push the limits because they're a leader in their fields.
I'm doing it for the people. Right.
But I want people...
Exactly.
His whole that moment where he's in, like, the darkest of the dark and he's like, you know, my first thing was a circus.
Oh my God.
And everyone could tell it was fake.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make something real. And this is real. And it's like, I don't want to live in a world with actual dinosaurs. I'm sorry, I'm cool. I'm good with that. Like, I'm good. We were 60 million years apart.
Why couldn't you just make, like, a zoo? That's real. Fleas are also real. Okay. I don't get it. But that's what I mean. It's like he puts on this whole thing and he believes what he's saying. He believes that what he's doing, there isn't a problem with it. And I really think throughout the whole movie, all the way up until the very, very end, that's when it finally hits him. Because even at that point, like, his kids could have been dead. And Sadler even called out. She's like, yeah, like, Grant and the kids are out there? And you're here eating ice cream. And he's like, well, next time we'll have to figure that out. And you're like, hello, priorities.
The one thing he says, and I'm looking it up right now, he says 4 times, which I thought was way more.
Spared no expense.
Spared no expense.
Which, again, it's a quote about money. And that's all he references. And he talks so much about, like, this is what we're having for dinner, and, like, this is what the music's gonna be like, and this is this, and, you know, we might change this, and literally all the people are like, we don't care. We're here to assess. Focus, focus, focus. Just, this would happen.
This would happen. What was also interesting is the turn of events where the lawyer comes, and the lawyer's like, listen, I'm here for my investors. You killed a guy. They can't have their money be wasted. And he was like, okay, well, I got my people, you get your people, and we'll just dish it out. And then very quickly, the 3 doctors are like, this is messed up. You can't just clone dinosaurs with frog DNA and expect that nothing's going to happen. And obviously, Laura Dern, who, as you say,
she's the best.
Just queen. Dr. Sadler, she is like, you know, there's plans here you don't even know about, and they're going to take over, and you don't even understand all the different, just like, you know, survival of the fittest and all just the basic things we understand. And I just think it's so funny that he was like, huh, and the lawyer was like, we're gonna make so much money.
Ugh, I know.
He was like, how does the blood-sucking lawyer get it and you guys don't? And it's like,
because he's a blood-sucking lawyer.
Side, bro.
Because you just said what he is. He's blood-sucking. Yeah.
But he did it well because you
Yeah.
got to see the arc of Richard Attenborough.
Yeah.
Because I truly think some of these wild inventors, the Elon Musks of the world, are trying to push the boundaries and go to that next level. But I don't know if people are asking, why are you doing this? Why does it matter? Why? And it's like, but no one has. You don't understand it. I'm leading in my field. You don't understand it. And I have a very visceral reaction to that. That's what's so good about this movie, is like the whole quick reaction is, we are nature. We do not care about your opinion or your personnel on either side or your made up human like order and structure. We want to eat. We want to survive. Your food. The end.
Yep.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I have a lot of also like random funny lines like in the beginning before John Hammond comes and he was like, Dr. Grant, Dr. Sadler, please come on my mission. They're doing a dig. And then that little kid who I literally wrote was like Brucey from Matilda.
It's not Brucey, but I wish.
But like he had this like Brucey to him.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
But like, whose kid is this? Why is this child in the middle of the desert? I don't understand. And nobody was like, little Johnny, you shush. Like they were all just like, ooh. It was like when someone gets called to the principal's office. That's what it felt like. It was so weird.
I definitely like pushed hard on the, okay, Dr. Grant wrote a book that dinosaurs are like birds. And so this kid is like challenging him. And then he goes on and on about how dangerous birds are. And I was just like, this is like such a funny side story to this. And they kept hitting on it so hard.
Yeah.
We get it. Like, who cares?
But it was also weird because so when he talks about that though, and the kid's like, oh, it's more like a 6-foot turkey. And then all of the people who are adults and I assume are working under Dr. Grant, they like laugh at that. And I'm like, wait, so do you guys not agree with, wait, what? Aren't you all also paleontologists or students? Wouldn't you agree and maybe not laugh at that? I don't know. And like the whole like dinosaurs being birds thing, I mean, it wasn't like super important in the plot. It was just kind of like referenced a couple times.
Do you want to know why I think it's referenced so much? So if you look up a velociraptor, a real one,
right,
they have feathers.
Yeah.
They're not that scary.
Mm-hmm.
And the animators and Spielberg was like, we got to beat this up. We got to make this the scariest thing. He actually hired paleontologists, and they were like, listen, velociraptors are not, like, this scary.
Well, and they were smaller, too. They weren't, like, as big.
They were smaller, they had feathers, it wasn't as big. But, like, in, like, 1992, like, a year before it came out, they found this, like, super raptor that was that big, that was that intense. It still had feathers, but, like, it's believable.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why they were hammering the birds thing, is they were like, listen, our dinosaurs are not exactly factual because we're trying to, like, scare the audience. So we're going to, like, hint to science. and we're gonna let Dr. Grant do it because he's like the paleontologist.
He's the scientist.
And I paid this paleontologist, who's this other famous dude, to like come on set, and he's like really mad about it, so we're just gonna like add it into the script. I was like, that's the funniest freaking thing I've ever heard. But I kind of get it. That's like a nice workaround, Spielberg.
But
Smart.
like that part, I mean, with where he's talking to the kid too, like that is supposed to introduce the whole him and Dr. Sadler are dating.
Yes.
She wants kids. He's like, you want one of those? And she's like, I don't want that kid. And they talk about that. And he's like, I don't want kids. So you see, like, they have the best chemistry, by the way.
The best.
Just so awesome.
But he also kind of ignored her a little bit, to the point that, like, literally Jeff Goldblum is, like, stroking her hair and touching her hand, and he's like, chaos theory. And then he's like, Dr. Grant, are you guys an item? And he's like, yeah, what's your problem?
Wait, I wrote a note. Hold on, I have to
like,
find that part. Because
so rude.
Oh my god, where is it? Oh, I'm like, here's my notes for that part. Dr. Malcolm kind of explains chaos theory to Dr. Sadler, and Grant is like, what the f*** ever? I'm looking for dinos. I just think he was really excited about all the dinos. I don't know if he otherwise would have always been ignoring her. I think he was just like, guys, we're on tour. Focus, people, focus. But that was the whole point of that kid scene. And did you notice, by the way, because this was the first watch where I actually attended to this, he does that talk to the kid in the beginning, and he uses the raptor claw and basically pretends to, like, slice him open and murder him, which is inappropriate, sir.
Very inappropriate. He literally, like, took it by the kid's shirt as if he was slicing his stomach open.
He's like, and your stomach comes out. I was like, ah!
Brucey, have your chocolate cake.
Just made me think of a separate fun fact that I have for you. But let me finish this point, and then I'll go to that. When he ends up being the adult that is basically chaperoning the children through the dino jungle, and when they go in the tree and they're like cuddled up to him, and he's kind of like still awkward because he's always like, oh, I know, kids are weird. But then he's like, all right, like I'll allow it. And he's holding the raptor claw because he like sat on it, and he's looking at it. And he throws it away. And it was, like, symbolic for him being like, you know what? I'm kind of liking kids now. And I thought that was really sweet. Oh, my God. I never, ever noticed it before until this watch. I thought it was awesome.
But I was annoyed that that was her problem. Okay, so first of all, she literally saves everybody. Sorry, she does.
Yes, she does.
She saves everybody.
Everyone.
The biggest bravery truly comes from her alone to save everybody. And at the end of the scene, when they're going away and everybody's safe and they're in the helicopter, you just see her being like, oh man, you like kids because you let the two of them sleep on you in the helicopter. And it's like, really? Laura Dern is so much more than that. And how rude of you, 1993. I mean, she is, first of all, I did not pay attention as a kid to your point of Jeff Goldblum stuck in the Jeep and everyone like leaves him and he's like, hey,
he can't walk, and they're like, you're just gonna wait here. Bye.
And he's like, I have a leg that doesn't work. Please get in the Jeep. And then they start moving. And if you watch that again, Laura Dern is screaming.
Yeah.
At the top of her lungs.
Yep.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
You're like such an intense character that I gave you zero credit for because it was 1993 and nobody gave a crap about women. And they made her kind of annoying. They made the sister kind of annoying. And both of them saved everybody and got zero credit. And I'm just very annoyed by it. And it made me think, oh, is this why Katie loves this movie? Is because, like, women rule the earth. And she makes an amazing line.
My favorite line.
God creates dinosaurs. God kills dinosaurs. God creates man. Man kills God. Man creates dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs eat man. Woman inherits the earth. Which, you know what? I'm ready. Ready to go.
I feel like every man, if they were honest, was like, yeah, we've been waiting for you guys to do this. Just go do it.
Ladies, whether you're new to podcasts or consider yourself a longtime listener, if you haven't heard of Girl, you're in for a treat. Girl is a podcast all about empowering women to be their badass selves, with segments like personal problems, we all have plenty of those, and conversations on a variety of topics from boys to entrepreneurship. If you like the dynamic of sisters who've seen it, you're sure to love the back and forth banter of Amaya, a Pisces, and Paige, a Libra, as they share self-proclaimed, mediocre advice and embarrassing stories. To join the movement of girls from all over, catch the latest episodes by searching GIRL, all caps, exclamation point, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Anchor. And follow @Girl the Podcast on Instagram and most other social media platforms. Bye, girl! You know what? To some degree, talking about the gender, disparity, all of the dinos were women. All of them. All these dinos that are killing you, they women.
Well, we learn in the wilds, maybe they're not, Kate.
But the thing is, though, they never really talk about, like...
They do.
No, hold on. They never talk about the fact of, like, oh, well, some are becoming male and then they're breeding on their own, because what they said was some West African frogs can, like, change on their own. Because, like, if you think of, like, there's animals where they can, like, pregnate themselves. So I don't know if it was that.
Ah, I see what you're saying. And he says West African frogs in an all-sex environment can change sexes. But what I hear you saying is, as a female, I will take the hit, become a male for a day,
right,
shoot somebody up, get her pregnant, come back to a female and be like, that sucked for a day. I'm so sorry I was so rude and try to colonize everything. And continue being the graceful queen you are.
Yes. Amazing.
Have a day. Continue.
Oh, boy.
I mean, Laura Dern actually calls John Hammond sexist in the film. Do you remember that scene?
Where he's like, I should really be going. I want her to be like, okay, you're old, you don't take anything seriously.
No.
And you're useless.
No, she literally says it. She goes, leave the sexism comment when I come back. And I was like, damn.
Right.
And okay, so I have to take some time because I went down this path, like kind of an internet rabbit hole. So there are 4 geniuses that were a part of the special effects.
Okay.
And the special effects were combination of, which is reminds me of Babe, was a puppeteer, actual like special effects, meaning like CGI.
Yeah.
A very, like, nuanced approach to stop motion. So when you're, like, thinking of, like, someone's this way, and then you move them to that way. And then, like, light effects. Yeah. In addition to, like, lights kind of go into CGI. And you need to look up this man, Stan Winston. Stan Winston School. You have to look up those words. And obviously, like, Jurassic Park. There is so many videos about how they made the dinosaurs. And I learned so much, and these people are so talented! I learned that most of the dinosaurs were from, like, the waist up. And the Velociraptor was, which, like, as a product person is very nerdy, because it was, like, it started as foam, and then they added different material, and then they, like, added more skin, and then they, like, put a person in it, and then they, like, literally made a clay animation to, like, fit a person, and then they eventually added a person to it, and then the person, like, helped with the movement, and then they, like, kept adding different skin suits. So, like, Stan Winston did Terminator. Basically, Steven Spielberg's like, I'm bringing in the big guns.
Yeah.
Stan Winston from Terminator. Michael Lanateri from Indiana Jones. And all of the Back to the Future special effects.
Wow.
Phil Tippett from Return of the Jedi. And
Amazing.
Dennis Muren, if I'm saying that right. He did the other Star Wars films, which, I don't know any of those.
Okay.
But the fact that was 1993... It's 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, some scenes were a little like, it held up, I would say 97%.
Yes.
So I think about Dad brought me and Jimmy, because you were literally 2 years old, to the theater. And in the theater, this was, I mean, you had never seen anything like that in your life. The special effects, I looked it up, it was like $63 million they spent on it. And they wanted to actually build everything and make it over the top. Like, the only thing they truly built I think was the T-Rex.
Yeah, the
which
head.
I looked up was 9,000 pounds.
Jesus. It was big.
Yeah. But, okay, I just had to give an homage to those people because I thought, wow, that was so cool. Look up Stan Winston School.
I will.
The coolest thing ever. It was so cool.
I 10,000% agree that the effects are amazing. I think they're still amazing. And I think a lot of movies, just because of, I wouldn't say necessarily maybe money, but more of just, ironically, practicality, choose to not use practical effects. Meaning they choose not to use, like, animatronics or, you know, puppets of some sort. And it's kind of ironic because they look so good.
Yep.
The Triceratops is so insanely real. Like,
so
no
good.
part of it looks fake.
Yep.
And I mean, it kind of gets a little bit of a pass because it was sick. So, like, okay, it's not moving that much. It's just, like, laying there.
Totally.
But it's breathing. And Sadler sees it and she's crying. And I was like, oh my god, me too. Like, why are we all crying? My goodness. Just so insane. And when they did use the CGI, I don't know, I didn't mind it. The only parts that seemed kind of not so real were if it was, like, in the daylight.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, like the fast movements and like when the Gallimimus are running and like Grant kids are running, that was insane. Like that looks so good.
So good.
And the raptors. Okay, so here's my fun fact about raptors.
Ooh!
Which, if the people listening have been consistent fans, y'all will know Kate was an animal science minor, which means at one point in my life, I worked at a petting zoo. And at this petting zoo, we had one emu.
Oh.
And how does that relate to this movie, you ask? I will tell you. The raptors, which you already pointed out, they don't look how real raptors look, whatever. They based the movement in terms of walking and the stance of the raptors on emus, which are the second largest birds in the world. And they have kind of like this, I'm telling you, if you look up an emu and watch how it walks, and you look at the raptors when they're walking slowly, not when they're running.
Why are they so lovable?
Emus are so cute. Our emu was
I know, but like raptors
Emmett.
are terrifying. Like emus seem lovable.
They are. They're super cute. I used to pet him, little Emmett. Be like, Emmett.
Oh.
And then I would tell everyone, the raptors in Jurassic Park were based off of this bird. And then Emmett would just look at them like,
and then you'd be like, do you want to hear the synopsis of the movie? And everyone's like, yeah!
Do you guys have an hour for me to describe the plot of Jurassic Park? No? We have to get on with the normal petting zoo tour? Okay, let's go see the ducks. Here we go.
Oh, God.
Anywho.
Yeah, I'm really glad you called out that watching the movie now, there would be like way more questioning on what island am I going to? What's at the island? Why do you want a paleontologist? Right. Why are my kids there? What do I have to sign? What's happening? Like, there's definitely a lot of, well, it'll be fun. Yippee-ki-yay, money.
Also, like, don't you think they would have, because they were like, this is our first tour, because Samuel Jackson, he says the same line twice.
Oh, yeah. Hold on to your butts.
So awesome. So awesome. But, like, wouldn't you think just one of the workers would have gone through the tour? I don't understand why nobody was like, let me
quality
sit in the
control.
Car.
I tell you.
Oh my
quality control.
Doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this whole like sexism, but all the dinosaurs are female, but we're all men. Like 80% of the staff.
Yeah, there were also no female workers.
Like at all.
Not even like the background
even, like,
scientists. Yeah, like none. Yeah. I know.
To the point the lawyer's like, are these animatronics?
No, he said, are they autoerotic? Didn't you go to law school? Like, what's your problem? I don't understand.
Those are people. Ew. So I have the slapstick humor.
Well, okay, so I noticed that two characters in this movie would always have like a weird one-liner after something horrific just happened.
Oh yeah.
Who were the two characters?
Timmy.
Yep.
I want to say Jeff Goldblum.
Yep, that's it. I was like, guys.
Enough.
We need different coping skills. Like, we need not that. This is not the time.
Jeff Goldblum wasn't as annoying as an adult. As a kid, I didn't like him. Timmy, I was like, you're cool. As an adult, I didn't like Timmy. Jeff Goldblum, I was like, you're kind of onto something.
The car scene where it's in the tree. And they are like, oh God. That's scary. I mean...
That's terrifying.
Could you imagine dying, getting crushed by a car in a tree. My God, that's the
No
worst.
thanks.
Or getting eaten by a dino. Okay. But, like, they get down, they escape, Grant grabs them, and then the car falls, but they're okay. And then Timmy, instead of, like, crying like a child or throwing up again or, like, being a child, he goes, well, we're back in the car again. And, like, I just...
It was so inappropriate.
I was like, what the... Like, every single horrific thing that happened, he would say something, stop it.
I literally wrote terrible comedy lines. Like, enough, Timmy.
Because it's kind of like with Jeff Goldblum, like you said. I think as an adult, it didn't bother you as much when he did it because you knew his character. That was, like, his personality. He was kind of sarcastic and, like, he knows a lot and, like, he's, like, thinker, but he's also, like, kind of making jokes about things and stuff. But, like, Timmy, like, he's not like that. Timmy was just this little, like, weird kid who was like, I read book, blah, 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 dinosaurs. So you're like, Timmy, are you, like, practicing for stand-up comedy? I just feel like there's better times. I just feel like we could do this another time.
Wait, question. Can you actually say the word dinosaurs without an inflection as if you're Clippy from Microsoft introducing the dinosaur tour at Jurassic Park? Can you do it?
Dinosaurs.
And then say it how you normally do?
Dinosaurs.
Like, you know how I repeat spot on? I say spot on a lot.
I love it. It could be your trademark.
Oh my God. But literally, your trademark today is dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Like, it's so good.
Oh, man. Okay, I want to talk about the T-Rex scene.
That was the coolest scene of all time, and it held up.
Yep.
If I went to hell and they were like, you're gonna suffer the rest of your life by scary, scary movies, they would put me in this scene over and over and over again. It is horrifying.
Yes.
Sorry, I went down the rabbit hole with that, but yes. That held up after, 27 years. Woo!
What I love about it is, like you said, there's a lot of suspense to it. And there's parts where, like, we as an audience, I think, see things before the characters do. And even, like, before the T-Rex thing happens, the car's, like, stopped, and it's Grant and Malcolm. They're in one car, and then the lawyer and the two kids are in the other car. And so Grant and Malcolm are talking. Malcolm's like... he's really nervous, and he's like, okay, well, I hope the kids are okay. And Grant's like, yeah, the kids are fine. Like, what's up? Like, Grant was, like, a little too calm during this scene, in my opinion.
Yeah. And
I wrote a note being like, Grant's like, let's all just do a meditation. Like, let's just, like, take some deep breaths, and we're gonna be okay.
Pretend it's not happening!
But even when the T-Rex comes out, he's still, like, super chill. But anyway, so I love it because it also shows you all the different characters, like...
under pressure.
Well, and how they're kind of even just handling the situation that they think it is, where they think, like, okay, like, our car's just stopped. And, like, you see Malcolm kind of, like, freaking. And I thought it was interesting because he's the chaostician. So he's the one who his whole job is to think about what could possibly go wrong. Because at first you're like, why is he freaking? But then he was right, because he's always right. He's right about literally everything in this movie.
And he was mad about how right he was. He was like, I really wish I wasn't right all the time.
And then Grant is, like, very calm. The lawyer fell asleep. Cool.
The worst.
Great. Not taking things seriously. Good job. The little boy's being annoying and, like, annoying everyone. Normal. And the girl was just, like, awake and sitting there. Ugh, but that buildup of the glass of the water. Oh.
You see the goat gone with his glasses? So, like,
yes.
He was being annoying, but you're like, okay, there's a point to your night vision goggle discovery. I thought that was better.
The movie in general, I mean, it's Steven Spielberg. The way that he just, like, directs certain scenes and, like, how certain scenes are filmed, there was a lot of, like, creative imagery where it was like, okay, now we're looking through the goggles. Like, it wasn't always, or, like, we're gonna look from this angle. It wasn't, like, the same shot every time, I guess is my point. There was a lot of interesting lighting, too, which you said before, there was a guy for that, so... That's cool.
Now that I actually think about it, this movie is really for everybody because he gives everybody a perspective. He gives the kids a perspective. Mm-hmm. He gives the adults a perspective. He gives the adults that hate kids a perspective. He gives the adults that love kids a perspective. Like, he definitely is like, listen, we gotta get arranged because this is an expensive movie and all people have to like it. And I feel like Spielberg gave his secrets to SpongeBob. Oh. Because everybody loves SpongeBob. Adults and kids alike. I'm sorry. It's true.
Oh.
But I'm becoming too much of an adult because I thought they were all annoying, the kids. Why does the girl have to put on the flashlight?
I know. Yeah.
She literally can't turn the flashlight off. So
right.
She's just like, I can't turn it off. Scaries. It's like, stop it.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, the kids
I was annoyed by that.
They were annoying.
But it could have been just as scary if she like turned it on, the T-Rex came, she turned it off, and the T-Rex was still there trying to eat them. It's like, dude, I'd still believe that.
Yeah. I think the flashlight was less of, I'm gonna get the T-Rex's attraction to the car, and more of, I'm going to use it for the shot of the eyeball, because that's
totally
a crazy cool shot.
Cool scene.
That's what I mean. Like, I just think a lot of the choices were more of, like, almost to, like, aid the cinematography sometimes, rather than,
like,
it was purposeful in the story like that.
I read, out of all of those, like, souped up people I mentioned that did all of the crazy animatronic CGI, blah, 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 I think it was only 15 minutes of actual film.
Wait, what do you mean?
So, like, all of the dinosaur scenes where you see close up, 15 minutes, the whole movie. Which you were like, I was so scared for, like, an hour. And, like, you're telling me only 15 minutes? Okay, but the reason, and I clearly don't know this because I'm not you, but the reason I think this is your favorite movie, and I also think it made this movie become the best movie ever, was the music.
Music was amazing.
I literally wrote, John Williams, I bow to you. And the word you is really long with a lot of yous. Like, it's like multiple lines.
Yep. A
lot of the social issues obviously aged not the best, but the music was the best.
Yep.
God, is that why you love it? Because it really has one of the best musics ever.
I mean, I think that's part of it, but honestly, I just love the story. I think it's a cool story, and I like how in this movie, which will make more sense in a second, I like how in this movie, it's the park isn't made yet. It's like the pre-park. Because I feel like the go-to would have been, we just have a park, and like, here it is. Like, you know, because that's going to be more entertaining, which they end up making later in Jurassic World, and that is super entertaining, and I also like that movie, and I will defend it to anyone who would like to debate me on it.
Fight her.
Come on at me, I'm ready. I love it. But it's just very creative, and it wasn't anything that was done before. But this was based off of a book. I don't know if you knew that. And I read the book.
Yeah. What's the difference between the book and the movie? Besides, like, detail stuff.
I mean, some of the deaths are, like, different, and some of the dinosaurs in the book are different. Like, in the book, you have the... Did you see the Lost World Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
There's those little dinosaurs, the compies.
Yeah.
So those are in the book, in the first one, and they have a part. I think in the book there were 2 T-Rexes, and I remember one part where the kids, which I don't remember if it was a girl at all as one of the kids. They might have been 2 boys. But they jumped off a waterfall to get away from the T-Rex because it was chasing them. And then they were like, oh, we're safe. And then the T-Rex jumped into the waterfall and like into where they were and started swimming. I was like, whoa. And the reason I read the book was because I read it right before Jurassic World came out because I was interested to see if they were going to use some pieces for that. But actually, I do remember the book starts off with Ian Malcolm. It starts off with him because it's kind of talking about the chaos theory and how you can try to plan for things or try to think you're in control of things, but as he says very eloquently, life finds a way.
Life finds a way.
So good, man.
And do you know that Michael Crichton wrote ER? He wrote the screenplay for the show ER. And Spielberg was like, oh my God, you're so good. What else are you doing? And he was like, I think I'm writing this book, Jurassic Park. It's about dinosaurs. And he bought it literally before there was a screenplay.
Yes.
Which, wow.
So good. It's a good story. It's got good music. I think the acting is so amazing. There's not really any parts where I'm like, oh, this person can't act. I think everyone can act. It's just whether or not you like the characters.
Yeah.
And I love the way it's directed. And again, the effects. Like, just a smash. Like, all the little things where you're like, okay, what? You let go because there's so many other good things that just outweigh it.
What's your favorite part? Jurassic Park.
Well, there's a couple.
Oh.
The raptors, when they come into the kitchen.
Ah! So scary!
Like, talk about nightmare fuel. I would be dead. I would have died already. I wouldn't even have made it in the kitchen. I would have just laid on the floor and been like, well,
it's been
fun. Gotta go.
I gotta go.
I gotta go. Oh my God. We need more people to watch Documentary Now, by the way, if you guys don't know that reference. At the co-op. Okay.
Okay.
That scene. Oh, I mean, tell me, how did you feel? Were you clenching? How clenchy were you?
Because, again, the music gave me, like, a heads up where they're eating the Jell-O. Because they finally think they can relax, but they can't, because this whole movie, after the T-Rex comes in the scene,
can relax.
Nobody can relax. They're like, we're gonna die, we need to move. Imagine being an older sister. You got a younger brother. You got to keep him alive. And he's obviously went through all the traumas already.
Literally got electrocuted.
Almost died by a dinosaur. Fell off a cliff. Fell off a tree, kind of. Almost got crushed by a car. It's cool. I just think that she was so smart about it. And I liked that in 1993, they were like, you're a hacker, you're the smart one, but we're also going to give you kind of like the pessimistic personality. I did not appreciate her as a kid. I thought she was annoying. As an adult, I liked her. I was like, yo, you know what's going on, and you're going to save this park, aka you did, like Laura Dern. So I feel like I started to trust her more as an adult, but as a kid, I felt like it was the blind leading the blind, and it was way scarier. The best scene, in my opinion, is she is in this industrial kitchen. She jumps into this, whatever, cubby, this metal cubby, and she's trying to put down the window because the raptor's coming at her. But the way that they film it, to your point, Spielberg, is it makes it look like the raptor is like coming for her body. Yeah. And it's really her reflection.
That's what I mean, though.
It's so amazing. Like, who thought of that? Wow.
Also, it was very Shining-esque, because that same thing happens in The Shining, too.
So, yeah, and even at the end, you think the raptors got them. Which, I mean, I get it. We all know people survive, but I don't know. It's Jurassic Park. We don't know what's happening. But I mean, woo! And the T-Rex coming in, breaking its old bones, eating a raptor, and then having the beautiful...
Oh my God.
Dinosaurs will rule the earth.
Like... Amazing.
A banner falling to the ground while free animal sounds screams at the top of its lungs. I was like, this is the scene that should win you an award, because I remembered it as a kid. I remembered it as an adult. This blew my mind. It blew my mind. They could be that talented and not be cheesy about it. Like, because that could have been really cheesy.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And it wasn't. And you also had this conflict with dinosaurs.
Well, even with, like, Dr. Grant.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you hear him, like, fangirling over the raptors. He's like, oh, you want to talk about raptors to the little boy. And then he, like,
to Brucey from Matilda, he was like, I want to eat chocolate cake. Relax.
To Brucey, but not.
Don't slice my stomach open.
But then when they get to the park and they meet Dr. Wu, who the franchise ends up making
he was rude.
Bad guy later in the series. Very random.
They did? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jurassic World. Yeah. It's really lame, though. I was like, why did we need it to be Dr. Wu. Whatever.
Oh,
It's
okay,
fine.
okay.
Anyway.
Wow.
But, like, he's like, what species is this? And Dr. Wu goes, like, so nonchalantly, like, ugh, I'm writing on my paper pad, please. He's like, ugh, it's a velociraptor? Duh. And then Grant is, like, horrified. And he's like, you bred raptors? And it's funny because, like you said, he's, like, worshipping them
Yeah.
from afar. But
Yeah.
then when he knows they're
Yeah.
up close, he's like, what the is wrong with you? What's happening?
It's a dinosaur.
They got dinos. Even the Australian guy, what was his name? Muldoon?
Robert Muldoon.
Okay. He needs a name that's not Robert because I can't say that. Oh, Jesus.
Robert.
Let's just call him the Australian guy. When the Australian jungle man is there and they're at the raptor cage, so well done because you don't see them. Like the suspense and the build-up, and we hear so much about them, but we really don't see them for who they are and what they can do.
So stressful.
But you see them, like, murder the cow and, like, even destroy the part. And the Australian guy's like, they should all be destroyed. He's like, I'm their zookeeper, but I hate them, and let's kill them all. And they're so smart. Gosh darn it, I wish I could shoot them in the face. You're like, oh my god. Just, again, like, the ethics.
Yep.
Just so many good parts to it.
So many good parts.
So, you made me think of this when you were talking about the effects, though, because, again, something I noticed this time around, and not other times around, but now I will always notice it. One raptor. I'm assuming it was the same one, because it kept doing the same thing.
Oh, God.
When they were using, like, the actual, like, puppet, or the animatronic, whatever you want to call it. One of the raptors would keep what I would consider smizing to the camera. Do you know what smizing is?
What? I mean, smile eyes? I don't know.
Yes,
what?
where you like, where it's like America's Next Top Model, where you're like, that's what the raptor would do. It would like close its eyelids and like squint at you. It's just really funny because you were like, okay, we get it. Like they're smart. We don't need to see their squinty smize eyes to know that they're thinking and like planning.
With the snake. That scene?
So that was one. It did it again when it saw the kids running out of the kitchen. It did like...
Yeah.
And then it did it again when it was outside of the door, like that they were all inside. It did it like a couple times and it was so funny.
I love it.
But that was someone's sweat and blood went into that smize raptor, as they say in Matilda, so...
My sweat and blood went into this. I loved it.
What'd you think of the Dilophosaurus? Were you afraid, or were you like, eh?
I was afraid.
Yeah, it was scary.
The thing that was creepy about this dinosaur is it was smaller, and it didn't do anything right away.
Yep.
So he was like, oh, you're a dinosaur, and I'm scared. Wait, you're not going to do anything. So I'm okay. And then he starts actually making fun of it, very Newman of him.
Ugh.
And he was like, you're a dumb dinosaur, I'm going to run you over, blah, blah, blah. And then I just remember thinking, like, this is even scarier because now you're, like, testing fate. And if I was in that scenario where I had millions of dollars in my can, right?
Your shaving can.
My Barrel shaving can. I would just run for the dock.
Mm-hmm.
How far is it? How far is it? I'd be like, I would just run for it. And if that dinosaur followed me, I'd be like, I'd be dead either way. I'd be dead in the car. I'd be dead if I wasn't in the car. I'm screwed no matter what because the car can't move. So, like,
yep.
I was terrified because the dinosaur didn't do anything in the beginning.
Well, it's funny, too, because, like, it does the I'm over here.
Yeah.
I'm over here.
Oh, God, it's terrifying.
But, Niju's on this whole thing. Oh, snap, I'm going to be late for the docks. I'm in a rush. I'm running over signs. I'm driving into waterfalls. But he takes the time to do a little stand-up comedic monologue. Talking to the dino who doesn't speak English. Also, the dino, you can see its teeth. It has teeth. It's not a friend.
Horrifying. Okay, so my question for you, because I talked about this with Mose and he didn't know anything, is in that scene, the famous thing is he's getting the embryos, he's going to the dock, and you're thinking, oh God, here it goes. And obviously he gets killed, and then, the shaving cream goes down the waterfall, the mini waterfall.
Yes.
In my mind, I thought, is that a setup for, like, the next movie? Or is it just to, like, because he was so focused, I was like, we get it. He died, they're not getting the embryos. Why are we zooming in and spending, like, a lot of time?
Yeah.
What's that about?
I don't know, because that, obviously in the book, they don't, like, people don't write like that. I wonder, though, they might have been like, oh, well, maybe we'll make a sequel. Although, ironically, in the sequel, they don't
even bring it up.
No.
Okay, because I thought to myself, maybe I didn't know if they brought it up, but I was like, I don't think they do.
Also, when I watched this movie, I have a Roku, so I watched it on the Sci-Fi streaming app.
I give all my money.
Oh my god.
And I don't want to. Amazon. I don't want to give it to Jeff Bezos. He's already rich enough. I hate him.
God, he's probably creating Jurassic Park as we speak.
I hate him! I hate him!
Okay.
Okay, sorry, continue.
Anyway, I watched it on the Sci-Fi app, which it had commercials.
Oh, that breaks up the movie. That's for real.
Which is annoying. But where the commercials fell,
ooh,
they weren't lined up with the scene transitions.
Yeah, because half of the movie was chaos.
No. But the way that these commercials would start with, so for example, in the Nidri scene, he's getting eaten. He dead. Yeah. And you see the car like shaking because you know he's being eaten. Okay, so my commercial break started right when the car was shaking. And so I'm like, okay. And then when it cuts back, it shows the canister's mud for like 2 seconds. And then it goes to a whole other scene. And I was like, oh my god. And it kept doing that to the point where towards the end of the movie, it was literally cutting off people in the middle of their sentence. Sci-Fi, I love you so much, but like, get it together.
Okay, I want the dad quote unless you got more stuff, which I know you have 7 pages, so let's discuss.
I just have one more thing.
Oh, okay. What?
I love the ending scene.
Oh, the helicopter or what?
Yeah.
Why?
Because nobody talks. I know that sounds funny, but like, I don't mean it like that. I mean it like...
you love the endings of every movie, and it's my favorite.
I love it though because they don't need to talk. They knew the tone. They knew what they were going for. You understand what everyone is thinking at the time, despite nobody talking.
I think the thing I enjoyed about the helicopter scene was it gave me like a breath.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. I told Mose, I was like, I am like tense. I literally like, my body was contorted because I was so stressed out by...
Gotta go see the chiropractor.
Yeah. But I, at the same time, was like, honestly, it's beyond genius talent that it was so scary 27 years later.
Insane.
How?
So good.
Okay.
So good.
Okay, you send me Dad's quote. I'm gonna play it. Ready?
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
And going.
Okay. Our movie this week was Jurassic Park.
Oh. Very, very good movie.
Yep. My favorite.
I love the dinosaurs, and the cast was pretty good, and it was well done.
Oh.
There was one funny line in there that you always would remember to remind you of the movie.
Which one?
Dotson. We got Dotson here. Dotson. We got Dotson here.
It's so true.
Oh my god, he's too much. We didn't even say that line. He's right.
Yeah. But it is, like, you know.
Dotson, we got Dotson here.
Everybody knows it.
Oh my god.
Boy. All right, well, we gotta talk about the next movie.
I cannot wait, and I don't even know where you're going with this.
Oh, well, I didn't know where I was going, and then I found it, and I don't know if you're... I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it.
Okay.
Okay, this movie is a drama romance.
Oh, wow.
A dramance, if you will.
I'd call it a dark romance, but continue.
No, I don't think it's too dark. I think it's more like, I don't want to say it was ahead of its time, because when you hear the movie, you're going to know exactly what I mean by not wanting to agree with that, because it should not be considered ahead of its time ever. It should have just been the norm in life, but it perhaps was not considered that.
Wow. The buildup is wild.
And great director.
Wow. Okay.
2 amazing actors. In fact, one of the actors, we've already done a movie, and he was in...
A he.
So this is a love story. It's about a forbidden romance, which again, I LOL at the forbidden because it should not be considered forbidden. It was a movie that unfortunately was parodied a lot because people are jerks. The movie we are about to watch
Totally lost on
is
what
from
this is.
2005.
Oh, wow.
It won 3 Oscars. The movie this week is Brokeback Mountain.
What?
Does it click in? Is it clicking now?
Wait, we did not do a movie with these actors.
Heath Ledger, Bridget.
Yes, we did. We did a movie with these.
Oh dear.
Katie.
Yeah.
Okay, I already clapped for you, but again.
Silly.
Oh, I love this. I love this so much.
Yeah.
Wow. And Heath.
Ugh. Amazing.
God.
And Jake Gyllenhaal.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to get like a little inappropriate because
Well,
he does things
we
to
bleep
me.
things out.
Ooh, there is something about Heath Ledger. I don't know what he does. And it makes me so sad that he like passed away, but
Yeah.
I still can't figure out what it is.
Well, maybe we'll figure it out during this episode.
But I feel like Brokeback Mountain, Heath Ledger was kind of a dick in it. And Jake Gyllenhaal was like a sweetie poo.
Yeah. Little sweetie poo poo.
I love you. This was so fun. Jurassic Park, wow. It came to me not on a list. However, I was really proud I thought of it. And now I know your favorite movie. As I should, since we're doing a movie podcast together.
Yep.
I should know your favorite movie.
Well, I'll say to you, to finish up Jurassic Park, that if someone in our family who was rich created a dinosaur park and they invited us to go, I would say no. That's how much I love you.
Well, I will follow it up with, not only will we say no, because I'm with you, or I'll sign a contract.
Oh, okay.
And then be in a helicopter the whole time.
I'm scared. Yep.
But the reason is because life finds a way.
Ugh. So good.
I love
I love you. All right, listeners, we love you. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who've Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, among other podcasting websites. Or listen on our website at sisterswhoseenit.buzzsprout.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at Sisters Who Seen and on Instagram at Sisters Who Seen It, all spaced with underscores. See you next week.